Welcome back to another edition of Carnivore Life. Tonight, I was a little bit bored, so what I want to do is do something different with the ribeye steaks that I got from ButcherBox. Here's the 2 ribeye steaks. They come in a package like this, and you can cut them down the middle. But I'm going to take the 2 ribeyes right here. I'm going to marinate them. And then I'm going to try putting them in the dehydrator as is. So hang with me as I do that, and I try to dehydrate my first ribeye steak. Will it work? Will it taste good? We're going to find out. Stay tuned.
A couple hours later, the ribeye steaks are now thawed out on a plate under plastic. I made a marinade of liquid aminos. I'll put a link for this down below. I don't use soy sauce. This is a soy sauce alternative. What else? White pepper, not black pepper, a shake of garlic, a shake of onion powder, Himalayan salt, pink salt. What else did I put in it? And 2 tablespoons of honey. So I want a little bit of sweet and savory mixed in there. Mixed it all together. If you can see that. And just mix it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is put these steaks in there and let them sit for a couple hours. No more than a couple hours. And then when I put it in the dehydrator, they're going to go in for probably 8 to 10 hours. So here we go. A thawed out ribeye steak, well marbled. I'm just going to put that in the marinade. See that? Take the other one, put it in there. Now this is different than the biltong, and I'll tell you why it's different. Is that the biltong is a leaner cut. I get that from like a chuck roast. This is a fatty, ribeye is a fatty cut of meat. Well marbled. And unlike cooking in the slow cooker where it's going to melt the fat out, it's actually going to dry the fat. So here we are. Now that'll stay in there for a couple hours, and then I'm going to load it into the dehydrator. Let me just put this on here. And I'll just put this in the fridge now and let it sit for 2 hours, and we'll come back and we'll put it in the dehydrator and fire that doggy up. And then we'll see if we can dry ribeye steak.
The ribeye is done marinating. We'll take it out, load it onto the dehydrator. Like this. I'm going to put the top on. Get that all set up. We'll plug that in. That will be in there for 8 to 10 hours. Just scissors, that's all. Doesn't have to be fancy. And the pork itself will provide the oil as it heats up to cook it in. I'm going to put some garlic powder in here, some onion powder, salt and pepper, a little bit of fresh thyme from the garden. This is going to be so good. There we go. I actually put a little plop of the seasoned beef tallow in there, which is amazing. Has tons of spices in it, which I didn't have to add spices to the meatballs. It is unbelievably aromatic right now. So here we have the beef and pork meatballs made with seasoned beef tallow. Oh my Lord. It's almost like, almost like it's a cross between pork sausage and roast beef. Yes. Oh, definitely. Well, excuse me while I finish this. I will pull out the ribeyes out of the dehydrator in about 8 to 10 hours. We'll take a look at them. I'll cut it open. I'll see if it needs to go back into the dehydrator because they are pretty thick. And what I want to do is avoid any raw meat, So my goal is to make sure that it's dried all the way through. Then I will slice it diagonally all the way across, and then those will be my ribeye bites. I've never dried ribeye, so you're doing this with me for the very first time. All right, see you in a few hours. Eat meat, drink water. This ran throughout the night. Let's take a look. Oh boy, look at that. Warm, it's firm, fatty. Hey, fatty. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Marinated, dried for about 18 hours because there's a lot of fat in there. I'm going to cut it up diagonally into like the size of a stick of gum. Thin. First, I'm going to refrigerate it. I have to go to work. When I get back, I will cut it up. Refrigerating it is going to kind of firm it up a little bit. Right now, it's still a little bit soft because it's still warm. And then we'll have a little taste test. So I'm going to slice it up right now. It's cool. Ooh, look at that. Fatty, firm. These are ribeyes. I probably should weigh them because these were 1 pound ribeyes. And I wonder how much... That would be great to weigh them, to see how much water is actually taken out of these things. Okay, so I'm going to cut these diagonally. Now let's take a look at that. Wow. Imagine how that's going to taste. It's not as dry as jerky. It's about as dry as the biltong usually is. But here we go. There's 2 pounds of ribeye in the dehydrator. And what's a dehydrator run without the taste test on camera? Let's just pick a nice fatty piece. This is pretty fatty. Can you see that? course, the lawnmower has to start. I think there's a connection between me pressing record and neighbors mowing their lawn. What's making this more chewy than the chuck roast that I usually make biltong with is that this is so marbled. I don't know if you can see, like the fat in there. Can you see that? There's so much fat in there that it's making the meat soft versus drying the meat. So you're like biting it like leather. Here's like a ribeye nugget. Let's see how that is. Because remember I made the biltong nuggets? Let's try this. Perfect. The more surface area that is dried, like with the ribeye steak itself, the only thing that gets dried is like the top and the bottom. So if I cut it up into strips before I put it in the dehydrator, there would be more surface area to dry, and it wouldn't be as like moist feeling as it is right now. But it's magnificent, and my marinade just is magical. Well, half of this is my lunch today. Try it. I think you'll like it. The link for ButcherBox will be down below. You won't be disappointed. Eat meat, drink water, eat fat to lose fat, and meat heals. Enjoy. Fat.